What's up, everyone? I'm going to take a look back at the previous matchup involving the Dallas Mavericks and the Indiana Pacers, focused on how the Mavericks were contained to only 15 assists while having 15 turnovers in what ultimately was a blowout loss. Rick Carlisle has obviously a very clear understanding that a lot of coaches wouldn't have of the Mavericks offense as someone who coached the beginning of Luka Doncic's career. So I'm going to try to take some things away from that, put it in this video, and just try to learn something from that as well, just going forward, even though this is kind of retroactively looking at a previous game. I just figured it was one of the more interesting, outcomes where a team had success against the Mavericks offense. So let's get right into it. With how much of Luka's attack is predicated on hunting mismatches when they are given to him, he tries to have Josh Green screen to get Tyrese Halliburton switched, but the Pacers deny the switch. They try to show and recover, keeping Benedict Mathurin as the on-ball defender on Luka. Josh Green tries to get into the second side, gives it back to Luka with the clock running down, so this is up to Luka to get to a spot attacking on a drive, and he executes a tough floater. This is a tough shot overall, where the Pacers were not giving the Mavericks what they were intentionally looking for when using that initial screen to try to create an advantage and probe what the Pacers were going to be doing philosophically at the start of the game. This is one of the examples of defense leading to favorable offensive opportunities. Derek Lively walls up a drive, forces a miss at the rim as a rim protector, and Luka Doncic is able to push on the break, and he flows right into having a mismatch with Miles Turner guarding him out on the perimeter. Luka is able to get into that size-up combo to get into the step-back three, and he knocks the shot down. There was no screen needed, no shot clock needed to generate this mismatch. Turnovers were a problem in this game. Luka Doncic is being guarded full court. Two defenders are on him. PJ Washington brings the ball up and gets it ripped by Pascal Siakam, who goes the other way for a finish. Miles Turner's versatility gives the Pacers options defensively to play up to touch in ball screen coverage and have him backpedal to not concede a lob to the roller. And with Benedict Mathurin playing competitive on-ball defense, fighting over a screen, he's able to track Luka and have him take a tough shot around the elbow after driving middle. And, this is a shot that Luka makes, but it's a very tough look, and the Pacers are going to live with that type of shot. This is an example. Sometimes after a defensive stop, the superstar is just going to try to make a tough play with the open floor. Luka takes a pull-up three deep off the line, contested, misses the shot. To Luka's credit, instead of settling for another three on this next possession, pushing on the break, he gets downhill and attacks against Benedict Mathurin, plays off of two with the fake to get the defender up in the air, and draws the foul on the floater attempt. The Pacers continued to deny the switch when Tyrese Halliburton was brought into the action, this time with Luka getting into a back down in the post against Benedict Mathurin. Halliburton comes over to double, and this is up to the rest of the offense to attack. Kyrie Irving gets an ISO against Halliburton, plays out of the jab step, misses the jumper. And here's why Kyrie Irving screens for Luka. The switch typically does happen. They give it up, and Andrew Nembhard is guarding Luka Doncic early in the clock. He gets a ball screen from Derek Lively, but Miles Turner plays up to touch, backpedals, and now this is Andrew Nembhard guarding Luka Doncic on an island. Luka doesn't have the advantage attacking downhill since the defender's between him and the rim, and gets physical deep. And now Luka has to try to settle for this tough floater. No one is open as a result since the roll man was accounted for and off-ball shooters were accounted for. And that's the goal for the Pacers, is to get the ball handler into a tough position to take a tough shot while the rest of the unit doesn't have an open look for him to use his passing talent to generate that quality of a shot for. Once again, a bad turnover. Luka tries to make a throw-ahead pass to Josh Green. It gets intercepted by Tyrese Halliburton. As everyone who frequently watches Luka Doncic knows, he loves that left wing area. That's his sweet spot for step-back threes. So the Pacers show on the screen, have him split those defenders, and now he's getting downhill, taking a step back in mid-range for a less valuable shot. He still knocks it down, but again, that shows how intentional the Pacers were in dictating the offense's approach. After Luka Doncic navigates the full court pressure, he stays patient and brings PJ Washington up to be a ball screener to force Siakam into the action. And Siakam doesn't get into the ball at all to pressure the pass. This is just a quick pass to Washington on the short roll. And now the Mavericks were trying to neutralize Miles Turner by having Daniel Gafford set a corner pin-in screen for Josh Green, but he wasn't focused on that at all. He was focused on the main thing, which was protecting the paint. And Washington, to his credit, used finishing touch, managed to still complete the play, but this was a good read from Miles Turner. Luka Doncic gets picked up full court by Andrew Nembhard, gives it up to PJ Washington, trusting him to make a play, and he gets into a handoff with Tim Hardaway Jr. The Pacers switch this. There's a window of daylight to get the shot off, so Hardaway pulls it and knocks it down. This was a creative approach from the Mavs. Luka's posting up Andrew Nembhard, the smaller guard, and he uses this as an opportunity to get into an empty corner ball screen with Daniel Gafford. Luka gets into the paint and has to manipulate the low defender Tyrese Halliburton, uses a no-look pass to neutralize him, delay Miles Turner on the recovery, and connects on the alley-oop to Gafford. The Mavericks play out of a stack pick-and-roll action with Derek Lively as the big and Josh Green as a back screener, and the Pacers had a clever approach. They had Doug McDermott show after handling the back screen before recovering back to Green as he got out to the three-point line. This deterred Luka from getting all the way to the rim, and now he's kind of stuck in short range without any of his teammates being open, and he tries to make a play, but again, the Pacers are going to live with tough short-range shot attempts as long as they're not giving up the restricted area to a superstar. This is a great example of how difficult matchups are to contain Luka Doncic. There's multiple smaller defenders on the perimeter for the Pacers. Here he screens for Jaden Hardy and out of the corner, gets the ball in the post, sees that a late double is coming, and just sweeps through, draws a foul, gets to the line. This was a tricky defensive approach by the Pacers on the zoom action handoff for Luka Doncic. The big defender, Jalen Smith, stays attached to Luka and pressures the pass. And here, Luka tried to draw the defense to the corner by staring down Josh Green before making this lob to Derek Lively. But Doug McDermott had already committed to tagging the roller and staying attached to him instead of being baited by the no-look pass. And this resulted in a disjointed lob that was an empty possession. The Mavericks tried playing at a stack pick and roll here where Josh Green back screens for Derek Lively but gets called for an illegal screen call, and that neutralizes the great read that Luka made with a no-look pass to Lively on the roll. After the Pacers miss on this possession with Doug McDermott taking a quick trigger three, Luka Doncic ends up getting the ball from Josh Green on a handoff. He stays patient and brings Derek Lively up to screen for him, and he forces the switch by using a hesitation right to left crossover. Now Miles Turner has to step up, take the switch, and there's a window of daylight for Luka to get into that step back three and knock it down. Luka Doncic starts off ball, but then receives it on a handoff from Jaden Hardy. He receives a ball screen from Daniel Gafford, comes off going left, and then uses a quick change of direction with the between the legs going middle, and now he has space to work with against Andrew Nembhard. Again, a smaller defender, and with Miles Turner after initially playing up to touch and backpedaling out of ball screen coverage, Daniel Gafford fills the dunker spot, which gives Luka room to operate for this spin move, and he's able to finish with his right hand, get into that short range touch, and this is a shot that the Pacers are going to live with, but this is a shot that Luka is pretty consistently going to convert. Luka Doncic is picked up full court, but doesn't touch the ball in this possession. He signals for Jaden Hardy to get into an action, and Daniel Gafford was going to set that wide action screen. But again, Luka multiple times signals for Jaden Hardy to attack. He plays out of that ball screen, makes a move against Doug McDermott, gets a short-range jumper to go. And then another possession, Josh Green initiates, and this is PJ Washington, who's going to be playing out of a pin down. He's curling off the screen. This is up to him to knock down the shot. He misses, and, again, another possession where Luka gets a break. After the made shot, Benedict Mathurin picks up Luka Doncic full court once again, and Daniel Gafford's going to come screen, set a ball screen for Luka, and Mathurin's going to under it multiple times, and now Luka, instead of trying to force the drive, he's going to settle for the three, and again, the Pacers are very focused on stopping Luka from getting to the restricted area. This was a smart defensive approach from the Pacers. Benedict Mathurin fights through a couple screens, and Miles Turner shows enough of a presence in the paint to deter Luka from attacking on the drive. He passes out to Maxi Kleber. The ball pops and finds Tim Hardaway Jr., who attacks off the catch, tries to get a floater to go, but misses. Luka's going to end up getting this ball in an empty corner post-up. He's going to read that Tyrese Halliburton's coming to double him from the wing, so he's going to spin baseline, draws an aggressive low defender rotation for Pascal Siakam, so he's going to pass to the open teammate PJ Washington in the weak side corner, and he's pretty much open for a reason since he's been inefficient on that spot this season. Remember a key detail from earlier point of this game where Miles Turner has been frequently playing up to touch and ball screen coverage. Luka already has Pascal Siakam on him. He likes that matchup, so he's going to end up sending Hardaway away and bring Maxi Kleber to screen. Again, Miles Turner's up. Luka rejects the ball screen, gets downhill, and plays through contact against a smaller defender as the low defender and finishes with his right hand. This was an aggressive defensive approach. They show on Tim Hardaway's screen, Tyrese Halliburton pokes the ball loose on the trail, and then Maxi Kleber screens for Luka Doncic again, and Miles Turner makes a judgment call. He calls for the veer switch. He's going to take on Luka and holds his own out in space, with Luka taking a fadeaway mid-range jumper that he airballs. There were some just strange possessions in this game. Tim Hardaway Jr. inbounds it to P.J. Washington, and despite Luka and Kyrie being on the court, they kind of just hang out in the corners. Washington draws help, passes it to the trailer, and Hardaway just immediately takes a shot. And again, this is the type of possession where it's not logged as a turnover, but I mean, unless Hardaway is on a heater, that's not really a good shot. Tim Hardaway Jr. initiating. Luka Doncic is one of the double screeners here, and on the catch, he draws the attention of multiple defenders, makes the extra pass to Kyrie Irving for the three, and the shot's offline. After the Pacers come up empty on this offensive possession, the Mavericks push the pace, and Pascal Siakam ends up guarding Luka Doncic. And Luka brings Maxi Kleber up to screen after receiving it, and he likes the matchup against Siakam. He gets him pinned on his back, and then gets into a step back, knowing that Siakam's going to try to recover to cut him off on a potential drive. There were a string of possessions, with the first being to close the first half, and then coming out of halftime where Luka Doncic basically trusted his teammates to make a play. And here, Kyrie Irving screens for him. They don't switch this possession. And, this is an end of half sort of play where the Mavericks going to try to run the clock out, and Miles Turner switches. Now Luka accepts the switch and trusts Kyrie Irving to make a play off the catch with Turner out of the frame, and Irving gets to his spot and misses the jumper. And on this next play, the Mavericks are going to be bringing the ball out. Josh Green is initiating to begin the half. Kyrie Irving gets the ball in a handoff, and Luka's just spacing out this entire possession. Derek Lively came up to screen as a decoy, which allows Josh Green to attack off the catch, and he came up empty initially, got the rebound, and finished on the putback. Green initiates again. They're playing out of horns. Kyrie Irving's on the elbow, gets the ball in a handoff, flows into a ball screen from Lively, who's on the other elbow, snakes the screen, gets into a short-range pull-up, misses the jumper. The Mavericks essentially get into a double drag screen for Luka Doncic. Andrew Nembhard, who was guarding Kyrie Irving, switches and fights over the second screen. Miles Turner, who was playing up to touch as the big defender, is able to neutralize Derek Lively as the rim roller as a result. So now Luka comes off right and doesn't really have an advantage. The weak side shooter is accounted for, the strong side shooter as well. And so he's just going to take a mid-range pull-up. Again, that's the type of shot that the Pacers are wanting to give up. Once again, Miles Turner plays up to touch and ball screen coverage, accounts for the roller. Lively slips out of the screen, and Benedict Mathurin stays aggressive throughout this process. A re-screen comes near the elbow. Mathurin unders it, meets Doncic on the drive. No advantages there. In testament to Doncic's ability to make tough shots, he hits a turnaround jumper against Mathurin's contest. Benedict Mathurin deserves a lot of credit for his aggressive full-court defense. He forces a turnover after the inbounds pass, and, again, turnovers were a problem. Another example of the value of getting a defensive stop, the Pacers miss. The Mavericks come up with the possession. Kyrie Irving is initiating. This is a break for Luka Doncic. Kyrie gets a ball screen, and they leave him unaccounted for. They go under, they don't switch, and this is an easy pull-up three for Kyrie Irving. Here's another example of Luka Doncic trusting his teammates to make a play. He initiates the possession, draws the focus of the defense, and then passes to Kyrie Irving, who is attacking on a go and catch and gets into short range, misses the right-hand floater. Josh Green's going to give the ball to Luka Doncic for an ISO with his back to the defender, and he reads the paint's pretty clogged with Miles Turner in the paint, so Luka's going to play out of a jab step, raise up, and take the shot, but misses it. The Mavericks did manage to get Miles Turner switched onto Luka Doncic out of this delay zoom action. He brings Lively back up to screen Benedict Mathurin and then seals the switch by coming off wide and then retreat dribbling back out to the three-point line. And this is just a change of pace between the legs, attacking hard right as he sees a late double coming from the middle of the floor. And Miles Turner was unable to slide his feet to contain one of the world's best isolation players. The willingness to switch on 1-5 ball screens continued. Miles Turner switched onto Luka Doncic, and the Pacers were intent on sending that late double to mix it up against Luka, and he attacked, drew Tyrese Halliburton, and knew that the weak side corner would be wide open and gets the ball by staying patient to Kyrie Irving for the catch and shoot three. This was great patience from Luka Doncic after the soft switch doesn't occur on the initial 1-5 ball screen. Lively comes to re-screen, and then Miles Turner lunges forward. The low defender, Tyrese Halliburton, is not in a position to tag the roller, so Luka throws the ball up, and Derek Lively just has an easy catch and finish with Benedict Mathurin trailing. The Mavericks have Kyrie Irving screened towards the sideline to force the switch. Andrew Nembhard is giving up middle position as a result. Luka attacks with him on his right hip, tries to get into short range, stay patient, and get a tough jumper to go, but this one rims out. Again, these are the types of shots the Pacers want to live with. After the Mavericks bring the ball up after this missed shot, it looks like Kyrie Irving was going to be the focus of a wide action in red, that the defense was anticipating this, so he cut back door. Tyrese Halliburton made a great low-man rotation, pressures him at the rim, forces a miss. It was tough to get clean rim attempts because Miles Turner as the big defender and Pascal Siakam fully rotating as the low defender off of the corner with PJ Washington spacing. They blow up this lob to Daniel Gafford, and the Pacers give up the offensive rebound, and this ends up being a corner three for Josh Green. But again, they're very focused on protecting the rim. With full court pressure, Luka gets a screen from Daniel Gafford. He likes the ability to counter the defender's momentum, gets into the step back three, and misses the shot short. In case you needed to learn, Tim Hardaway Jr. is not a ball screen creator. Luka Doncic was used as a double drag screener, and Hardaway has to make a decision coming off left, tries to force a live dribble pass, and turns it over. A theme for the Pacers was not getting made to pay after doubling Luka Doncic here out of the double drag screening action. He attacks downhill going right, but doesn't kill his dribble. He retreats, gets into a post-up, and draws a double from Tyrese Halliburton. The ball pops. Hardaway tries to attack off the catch, gets into a tough mid-range step back, and misses the jumper. This play ultimately becomes a credit to Luka Doncic's creativity with the ball in his hands and space to operate. He pushes it after the miss, forces Miles Turner as the matchup, retreats back out to the three-point line. Then he breaks him down off the dribble, attacks middle, and then plays off of two with a shot fake to get him to leave his feet, and then watch his eyes. He makes a no-look pass, darts it to the weak side corner for Tim Hardaway Jr.'s catch-and-shoot three. This was kind of a microcosm of the game as a whole, even when the Pacers were stopped by the Mavericks defense and the Mavericks were pushing on the break. There were times where the Mavericks just had miscues. Hardaway tried to push it, got the ball to pop a little bit, and gained it back, tried to get it to Luka Doncic, who was being pressured by Pascal Siakam, and this just becomes a backcourt violation. While I made a comment about Tim Hardaway Jr. early in this game having limitations as a ball screen creator, to his credit, he does create a lob here. Luka Doncic is spaced on the weak side. The defense isn't going to leave him, so Hardaway just stays patient, sets up the lob after dribbling off left, and gets it to go with Gafford. Jalen Smith is playing the 5 in this lineup, and he's playing up to touch similar to how Miles Turner was early in this game. And Andrew Nembhard has trouble getting through this screen from Daniel Gafford, so Jalen Smith steps up and fouls Luka on the floater attempt. When you live and die by a limited supporting cast player, these are the types of outcomes that can happen. Hardaway gets into a ball screen, takes a pull-up, and misses against the contest. There were uncharacteristic missed opportunities by Luka in this game. He's picked up full court by Andrew Nembhard, and he ends up getting double drag screens from Hardaway and Gafford, comes all the way right, doesn't have to account for any sort of stunt attempt until he's deep on the drive, plays off two, and has a point-blank floater and misses. Once again, living and dying by a limited supporting cast player, does have some highlights at times. Tim Hardaway Jr. grab and goes in transition, pulls up from three, knocks it down. This is kind of a discombobulated version of stack pick and roll, but there's still a high ball screen with a back screener. Tim Hardaway Jr. is the back screener, and the Pacers really aren't worried about the back screener. They're not attributing much gravity to that screener. They're just going to switch off of the back screen and contest Luka on the step back three, and this is well guarded, but Luka is a tough shot maker and gets it to go. The Mavericks try a double drag Spain action here where there's two double drag screeners, and then there's going to be a screen from Kyrie Irving for that first screener. This is usually a lob play, and they switch it. Benedict Mathurin communicates well and disrupts this pass, steals it, and the Pacers go the other way. The Pacers effectively guard the zoom action for Luka Doncic. Miles Turner's playing up to touch, offers some resistance early on the drive, and then they round this drive off. Luka has to pick up his dribble against the stunt and passes out to the popper. Turner contests it, and it's a miss. Another instance where Luka Doncic is just spacing off the ball, gets some rest, trusts his teammate to make a play. Kyrie Irving attacks Benedict Mathurin with an in-and-out dribble in isolation, gets to the rim with a scoop finish, and gets it to go. Again, a theme in this game, Luka Doncic, his teammates struggled to handle attacking the double teams after he attacked out of the post. Here, he faces up, drives baseline, draws a late double. The ball pops. PJ Washington attacks off the catch, gets caught doing too much, leaves his feet, makes a bad read, and turns it over. This is the point of the game where the Mavericks are down by a lot and they're just trying to make something happen without much time to work with. Kyrie Irving initiates, tries to attack, draws help, gets it to the corner. Josh Green takes the shot, and this is offline. Luka's attacking early in the clock with the Mavericks down by 20 points with 3 minutes, 40 seconds left after he catches it, and there isn't a clean finish attempt here. He just gets into a step back, short-range jumper against contact, misses it, and the Mavericks pretty much from this point on put in their reserves. If you made it this far, I appreciate you for watching this video all the way through, and if you could like my channel, it'd be greatly appreciated, as well as if you could share this video, like it, and I will continue to make these types of videos throughout the rest of the Mavericks season.